Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Omotola missed Adebayo terribly. She would sit by the river singing the song they used to sing together and hoping that he was safe. The villagers tried to comfort her, but Omotola's heart was heavy with worry. She prayed every night for Adebayo's safe return. Meanwhile, Adebayo was far away fighting in battles he had never imagined. The warriors he was with were fierce, and the battles were dangerous, but Adebayo was strong and he fought bravely, always thinking of Omotola and the promise he had made to her. The thought of her kept him going even in the toughest moment. One day, after a long and difficult battle, Adebayo found himself alone in a thick forest. He had been separated from the other warriors and he didn't know where he was. The forest was dark and the sound of the wild animals filled the air. Adebayo was tired and injured, but he refused to give up. He knew he had to find his way back to Omotola. As he wandered through the forest, Adebayo came across an old man sitting under the tree. The old man had a long white beard and kind eyes. He looked at Adebayo with a gentle smile and said, "You look lost, young man. What brings you here?" Adebayo feels weary but hopeful, told the old man about his journey. He spoke of the battles, the fierce warriors, and most importantly, about Omotola. "I must return to my village," Adebayo said. "I promised the love of my life that I will come back for her." The old man nodded, understanding the depth of Adebayo's love. "True love is a powerful force," the old man said, "and it will guide you home." He reached to his bag and pulled out a small shiny stone. "Take this," he said, handing the stone to Adebayo. "It will light your path when it seems dark. Follow where it leads and you will find your way." Adebayo thanked the old man and continued his journey, clutching the stone tightly. As night fell, the stone began to glow softly, illuminating the path ahead. Adebayo followed the light, moving steadily through the dense forest. The journey was long and filled with challenges, but Adebayo's love for Omotola gave him strength. Back in Ile-Ife, Omotola continued to wait, her heart filled with hope. She knew that Adebayo would return to her. Every day, she would go to the village square looking out at the road, hoping to see him walking towards her. The villagers admired her patience and an unwavering belief in Adebayo's return. One evening, as the sun began to set and the sky turned a deep orange, Omotola stood by the river, singing a soft, sad song. Suddenly, she saw a figure approaching in the distance. Her heart raced as she recognized the familiar, tall, strong frame of Adebayo. He was tired, his clothes torn, and he had scars from the battles he had fought. But his eyes shone with the same love that had kept him going. "Omotola!" Adebayo called out, his voice filled with joy. "Adebayo!" Omotola cried, running towards him. She threw her arms around him, tears of happiness streaming down her face. "You came back! You really came back!" Adebayo held her close, feeling the warmth of her embrace, the softness of her hair, and the beating of her heart against his. "I promised you, didn't I?" he whispered. Nothing could keep us apart. The villagers who had gathered around cheered loudly. They had watched Omotola's steadfast love and were overjoyed to see the couple reunited. The villagers who had gathered around cheered loudly. They had watched Omotola's steadfast love and were overjoyed to see the couple reunited. That night, the village celebrated with a grand feast. There was music, dancing, and the sound of laughter filling the air. Omotola and Adebayo were the center of attention, their love story inspiring everyone who heard it. As the night grew to a close, Adebayo and Omotola sat under the stars, hand in hand. "We have been through so much," Adebayo said softly, "but our love never wavered. No matter what happens, I know that we will always find our way back to each other." Omotola smiled, leaning her head on his shoulder. "Our love is unbreakable," she agreed. "No matter the distance or the challenges, we will always be together." And so, Omotola and Adebayo's love story became one of the most cherished tales in Ile-Ife. Their bond forged in the fears of trials and strengthened by their unwavering faith in each other was a beacon of hope and inspiration. They married in a beautiful ceremony attended by the entire village, who celebrated their love with songs, dances, and prayers for a long, happy life together. Years passed and Omotola and Adebayo grew old. They had children and grandchildren who loved to listen to the story of how their parents had been separated by faith but united by love. And as the couple sat together watching their family grow, they knew that their love would continue to shine brightly, unseparated by time or distance. In the end, Omotola and Adebayo's story was not just love. It was about the power of hope, faith, and the belief that true love can overcome any obstacle. It was a story that would be told for generations, a story of unseparated love that warmed the hearts of all who heard it. And so, the village of Ile-Ife remained a place where love was cherished, where the spirit of Omotola and Adebayo lived on in the hearts of all who believed in the unbreakable bond of true love. For more stories, subscribe, like, and click on the notification bell. Thank you.